Not protect the white privilege of the white male child. Let me make this real simple. Your schools must fail in order to safeguard the privilege of the white boys. Oh yes, Springfield, Massachusetts education system, like the one in Philly, New York, Atlanta, DC, Vegas, Houston, Milwaukee, and everywhere else, it's a plantation. If you were to look at the school system from a helicopter, it looks just like a slave plantation. Most of the slaves, i.e. black children, are scattered amongst the cotton. They are the field Negroes. They go to the underachieving public schools in the field. And then if you look at Springfield from the sky, there's probably about 4 or 5 high-achieving schools. This is where you send the house Negroes. And there's always more Negroes in the field than in the house. And then if you look at Springfield from the helicopter, you'll see a couple private white schools scattered amongst. A couple Catholic schools scattered amongst. These are the schools for the overseers and the slave masters. And then sometimes the schools for the overseers and the slave masters will go grab a couple Negroes from the field and let them come, inducing the illusion of inclusion. Where black people and black children participate in a white reality, starting to think you're a part of it and you're not. Right. It's a plantation. They got to make sure you can't read by the time you leave 5th grade, because there's prisons in Massachusetts that depend on fresh bodies. If a black boy can't read by the time he leaves the 5th grade, there's a 75% chance he'll spend some of his adulthood in prison. And then black men become part of the problem because some of us want to relive our sports dreams through our sons. So now his worth, just like a slave on the plantation, is based on his physical abilities. But nobody tells the black boy that you have a greater chance of being struck by lightning and making it to the NBA. Nobody tells him you have a greater chance of being struck by lightning to make it to the NFL. He puts all his eggs in one basket. And to all you young brothers out there with athletic dreams, keep your dream. I don't want to take it from you, but you better have a backup. Because most of you will be going professional in something other than sports. And even if you make it, most of you will not be there long enough to make a living. And if it was up to me, we would probably have a moratorium on black males going to the NFL and the NBA, because the only people benefiting from black men becoming professional athletes are white women. So number one, understand the educational failure is on purpose. Oh yes. Oh yes. Let me make it real simple. There's 2 million black people in prison, there's 2 million black children in special ed. Let me make it real simple. You have to sign your name 3 times before your child gets into a special ed class. You had to sign the school psychologist evaluation report. That's me. Excuse me, back up. You had to sign permission for me to test the child. See, let me be clear. You can tell me how Springfield is putting on the black boys in special ed, but tell me why you gave them permission to do it. Because if you don't sign your name on the permission to evaluate form, Dr. Umar can't take him out the class, bring him to my office, and test him in the first place. Your signature is the key. And then once I finished the evaluation, you had to sign consent on the evaluation. And then once you sign consent on the evaluation goes to the IEP team. They create this so-called individual education plan, which is nothing but legalized inferior education. And then you got to sign permission for the special ed service to begin. So you signed your name 3 times before they special educated your baby. Stop telling me what they did. Start telling me what you did.
Right.
So let's talk about stage 2, special education. Where did it come from? Well, let me take you back to 1954, U.S. Supreme Court, Brown versus the Board of Education. The Supreme Court said, you can no longer use race as a factor in educational decisions. 54. But 10 years go by, in 64, Dr. King and the Civil Rights Act, and the schools are still mostly segregated. 10 more years, 1974, they start busing kids. And right up the road in Boston, Massachusetts, you had one of the most violent resistance campaigns by white parents to having black children bust into those Irish public schools. It set America on fire, and the government said, how can we be in Vietnam trying to make the world safe for democracy? And we can't even guarantee a black child a decent education in a white public school. They didn't care about us, they cared about their global reputation. So they said, if we don't handle this race thing in public at home, we cannot use freedom, justice, and equality as a pretext to go around the world stealing oil and snatching people's resources. So the white power structure got together and they said, what are we going to do? White people do not want black children in your children's classrooms. And in Chicago, a white psychologist came up with a new idea called the learning disability. Before the 1960s, there was no generalized learning disability. Most kids in special ed before the late 60s had an obvious disability. What are obvious disabilities? Blindness, deafness, cerebral palsy, hearing abnormality, anything that you can see with your eyes. You could only go to special ed if you had an obvious problem. But after 1960, everything would change. You would start seeing regular children who don't look like nothing wrong with them go into special education. How did this happen? I'll tell you what happened. The government got the white schools together and they said, listen, if you want to separate the black children, you can. But don't say it's because they're black. We're going to give you a list of disabilities you can use. They still do it today in Springfield right now. Take me to a predominantly white school, and I promise you, in that special ed class is at least a dozen black kids who don't belong there. They slap them with a label that they do not have because they know their parents would not challenge it, and they did it to get them out of the class with their own babies. I know this because I was an expert school psychologist in Lower Marion School District, Kobe Bryant's high school, Lower Marion High, and they were putting black kids in special ed who had nothing wrong with them just to get out the classrooms with the white kids. Oh, yes. And some of you think if you take your child from a ghetto school and put them in a suburban school, they're going to get a better education. Maybe some of them, most of them, it'll be worse because you fail to recognize that separate and unequal can happen in the same classroom with white kids. You just went from the pot to the fire. Them white folks are in the suburbs to get away from you. How dare you move out here? Them white people built them private schools to get their kids away from yours. How dare you be able to afford the tuition? When is America's biggest growth in private schools? 1954, Supreme Court v. Say, till 1974, special education. Do your research. Why did white people build more private schools between 54 and 74 than any other 20-year period in America's history? Because when the Supreme Court struck down race, they said, oh my God, we got to get our kids out of here. They're going to have to sit next to blacks. But when special ed came in 75, it slowed down because they said, we can simply separate them in the school. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he has a reading disability. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he has a math disability. Don't say it's because he's black. Say it's because he's emotionally disturbed. disturbed or intellectually disabled or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or conduct disorder or oppositional defiant disorder. So you got LD, you got ADHD, you got ED, you got ID, you got ODD, you got CD, and all of put together ain't nothing but BULLSHIT. If you took black boys out of these schools in Springfield and put them in independent black schools ran by black men, there would be no ADHD. There would be no conduct disorder. There would be no reading disability. The miseducation of black children in Springfield, Massachusetts is a function of the white woman at the front of the classroom. You cannot separate her from the equation, but you get these bougie Negroes in Springfield. The coonocracy. Some black principals, but not all of them. Some black preachers, but not all of them. Some black elected politicians, but not all of them. Some black business owners, but not all of them. This is the coonocracy. And every black community in America has a coonocracy because you cannot control black people without black people participating. There is no black oppression without black people participating. So I know you have a coonocracy. I know you have a black bourgeoisie, aka the untalented 10. I know you have it. Because white supremacy can't rule over black folks without the church helping them out. They can't rule over black folks without the Negro scholarship class at the local universities helping them out. Why you don't see no black churches fighting for better schools? I bet you ain't got a church in Springfield that's at the forefront of literally fighting. I don't mean showing up to meetings.
Right. Nope.
I mean literally fighting for more black male teachers, fighting for more black female teachers, black counselors, black social workers. You know why? Because this is what the school district do. They find the biggest, most influential black churches. The superintendent invite them in for a meeting and set them up with a 10-year after school grant. They pay them to shut up and stay out. They can't go to war with Springfield public schools. They're giving me $250,000 a year for my after school program. They buy them out. I go into meetings with the pastors. I said, raise your hand if your church don't get no money from the school district. No hands can go up. School district own all the black churches. And what the schools don't own, the politicians do.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
That the religious leaders are controlled by the devil's enterprise. Yes. How can you be about the Lord's work when you're financed by the devil? Help me understand.
Talk about it.
And the black bourgeoisies, they so funny because they got all the titles. Oh, they got all the titles. They come in the room, I'm the senior vice principal to the this. And I'm the senior under assistant deputy managing director for this. And I'm the assistant not yet to be appointed provisional, recently appointed mayor's chair for anti-violence. Nigga, please. You are a stool pigeon with a paycheck whose job is to make Negroes in Springfield think you actually got some power, but you have none. See, after they killed Dr. King, they said we're going to reinvent black oppression. Before Dr. King, black oppression was done by white folks. It was all right. They said, this ain't going to work. We got to put Negroes out in front. After Dr. King, they used black folks to control black folks. Yep. put your x-ray glasses on, you will see they still white folks too. So you can't just support somebody because they black. You got to know what their agenda is. They fly me around the country. Dr. Johnson, we heard this is your expertise saving black boys. We've tried everything. Do you have any recommendations? Show out the devil. Get rid of all these white teachers and replace them with black ones. Oh my God. We cannot use race. What you mean we can't make decisions. We cannot, it's not acceptable. We just can't hire a bunch of teachers because they're white and female. Then you'll never solve your problem then. Because racism is at the core of every problem black people have in America. Especially in the classroom. Give the black boys in Massachusetts a black male teacher. Won't be no more special ed, won't be no more ADHD, won't be no more dropout. But you put a white woman from the suburbs who don't even care about these boys in front of them. And wonder why he ain't motivated to learn. Have you ever seen how motivated the teacher was? Do you realize that his motivation is a reflection of ours? How the hell the teacher is in her car at the end of the day before the boys even hit the sidewalk? You ain't got no real black principals. It's hard to be a real black principal in a public or charter school in America. You know why? And I speak from experience. Because when they hire us to be principals, they don't really want us to fix the problem. No. We want you there to just manage the madness. And when you start making changes like, she got to go. Oh, Dr. Johnson, she can't go. Do you know she was National Teacher of the Year in 2016? What she was? She can't teach! And them two over there, they got, oh my God, Dr. Johnson, they're the oldest teachers in this district. They've been around since 66. I don't care how long they've been here. They are lazy, old, nasty, and don't teach. See, public schools operate at the mercy of the white women who run them. Oh yes. And then you have the teachers union across Massachusetts that control everything. That's why I don't feel bad for teachers. I love teachers, but I don't feel bad for the bad ones because education is the only profession in America. There's no other profession in America where you cannot be fired even when people know you can't do your job. Only education. If a doctor can't do his job, he gets fired. If a psychologist can't do a job, he gets fired. If the electrician can't do the job, they get fired. If the janitor can't do the job, the bus driver can't do the job. But if a teacher can't teach, I'm not allowed to fire her. I have to put her on a professional development plan. And I have to revisit it 5 times. And after I revisit it 5 times, which is going to take 2 years, they might grant me the privilege of transferring this horrible, racist white woman to another black school so she can miseducate somebody else's children. And that's what they call progress. So special ed starts in 1975. America gives the school districts of America disabilities they can use to separate black kids in the schools. There's 13 special ed disabilities. There's the hearing impairment, there's blindness and visual impairments, there's deafness, there's traumatic brain injury, there's orthopedic impairments, there's speech and language impairments, there's other health impairments, there's autism, there's the intellectual disability, there's the emotional disturbance, there's children who are deaf and blind. But most black children in Springfield are not in special ed for those 12. They're in special ed for number 13. And number 13 is what they call the learning disability. Reading, writing, math, listening, and speaking. Why are so many black kids in special ed for learning disability? You know why? Because you can't prove whether they have it or not. The learning disability is an idea. The learning disability is an opinion. The learning disability is a theory. The learning disability is a philosophy. And if anybody in here wants to disagree with me, your child got an IEP for reading disability, prove to me right now that boy can't read. You can't prove it. The learning disability is not a scientific phenomenon. It's a white man's creation to resegregate black kids from white kids. You don't agree? Can somebody in here please tell me where the reading disability is? Is it on the top of the head? Is it on the back of the brain? Where's the reading disability? Is it under here? Is it in the third eye? Huh? Is it in the hippocampus? Where the hell is the reading disability? Can somebody show me where the math disability is? Where in the brain? Can we do an x-ray and find the math disability? Can we do an MRI and find the reading disability? Can we do a urine sample, a blood screening? Is there any scientific way to prove your child has a learning disability? Hell no. You know what a learning disability is for Dr. Umar? It ain't a learning disability. It's a lazy disability. Oh yeah. Bring me your little so-called reading disabled child and let me test him. Let me prove to you that boy can learn how to read. He don't have a learning problem. He got a, I don't feel like learning problem. Your daughter don't have an algebra problem. She got a, I don't care about algebra problem. Oh yeah. Black kids ain't got no learning problems. They got motivation problems and interest problems. And it stems from your damn house. Which is why if I was in charge, we wouldn't diagnose children, we diagnosed the parents. I'm giving you the facts. And they are undisputed. That's why we never seen no psychologists ever challenge me, the coons or the crackers. Nobody challenged me, they know I'm telling the truth. They just want to know why I'm doing it because I'm messing people's money up. I don't know how much money the drug companies done lost because of me. And speaking of them drug companies, you should be out of your mind. The hell are you doing giving a 3-year-old a Ritalin prescription? What's wrong with you giving a 5-year-old a Concerta prescription? What's wrong with you giving a 7-year-old a Medicaid prescription? Are you crazy? Are you not aware that the Drug Enforcement Agency of the United States government classifies Ritalin as a Schedule B drug? That means Ritalin is in the same category as opium and heroin? If you don't believe me, get online and look it up. Your child is taking medicine that is as powerful as crack. In fact, Ritalin is only one molecule away from crack. If you don't believe me, go read the American Medical Association journal. It's a molecule away from crack. So let me understand, Massachusetts. You got black men in prison all across your state for selling crack. Doing mandatory minimum sentences of 5, 10, and 20 years. But you're telling me you can take the same crack, give it to his son, so he can sit still long enough to be miseducated by white women as she teaches about Christopher Columbus, Helen Keller, and Anne Frank. I don't need no drugs for that. You know what I tell the children? I said, the next time your mother or father bring you some white man pills, you tell them to take it first. You damn right I tell them. Tell your mother you ain't taking it till she takes it. Because I want your mother to see what happens when you take that damn pill. Because the doctors never give you informed consent, do they? I've never seen a doctor tell a mother what can happen to their child as a result of Concerta, Medicaid, Cycler, and Ritalin. They don't tell you that you know your son might not be able to have kids when he grow up. They don't tell you your son might develop breasts like a woman in a couple of years. They don't tell you your son might go bald before he graduates high school. They don't tell you your son should have been 6'6", but he might end up being 5'1". They don't tell you he might gain too much weight or lose too much weight. He may have trouble waking up or falling asleep. He might start having suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts. They're not going to tell you that they can cause tic disorders, schizophrenia. Oh yeah. Them drugs destroy consciousness. And you know what's sad? The human brain doesn't stop developing until age 30. So if the human brain doesn't stop developing until age 30, help me understand how you can give an elementary school child a drug that's going to disrupt brain function, and he's only 7 and his brain isn't supposed to stop growing until he's 30. Drug-induced brain damage. And see, what the schools do to make y'all put the child on a medication is they send in a member of the public school coonocracy. Now let's talk about the public school coonocracy. Because the public school got their own little crew of coons. I'm telling you what I know. And these coons are able to brainwash you in Springfield, and brainwash you in Boston, and brainwash you in Amherst, because they come off so woke. They so conscious. They walk in a room with a dashiki down to the floor, smelling like strawberry shea butter with a green smoothie and some frankincense incense. That ain't nothing but a cold Tassos no more. And you come home and you tell your husband, baby, Rashid got a good principle. I met with him today. He had a big picture of Malcolm X on the wall. He had a little boa constrictor python in a tank. He had water running. He had a big statue of Harriet Tubman. And guess what? That damn Hotep cool will put your child in special ed faster than the white ones. You better stop trusting people because they look woke. Coming in, yes, system, Principal Ashanti, Lumumba, say cool. Nah, your name is Tony Woods. Go ahead and keep trusting them coons at the school. Listen. Most of my time has been spent fighting the blacks, not the whites. The whites don't bother me, they see me, let them go. Just get him out of here as fast as you can. This is the Negroes. And sometimes I gotta fight y'all. I come to the meeting, there's nothing wrong with your son. He can learn as well as everybody in that classroom. Well, explain to me why my son is struggling learning how to read since 2nd grade, since you know so much. The reason, because after all, my oldest son had an IEP, my nephew had one, I had one, his daddy was in special ed, and his grandfather. So how you gonna come along, Dr. Umar, Day, and tell me my son don't need special ed when special ed running the family? We all got it. And I say, excuse me, what was your name again? Mrs. Sambo, was it? Let me explain something to you. Special ed has only been around since 1975. So it damn sure can't run in your blood if they just created it yesterday. Okay? There's no DNA for special ed. Let me tell you what runs in your family though. Poor parenting runs in your family. No homework runs in your family. Sports cycle of underachievement. That's what this is. See, you believe he can't learn how to read. And you put that belief in that boy. And this is why I'm telling everybody here today. Don't you ever share these disabilities that you swallowed from these white folks. Don't ever tell a child. There's nothing worse than when one of y'all believes something white people told you about your baby, and then you go tell the child. Why would you tell a 3-year-old you retarded? Why would you tell a 5-year-old you got conduct disorder? Why would you tell a 7-year-old your ass emotionally disturbed? Why would you do that? I'm 40. If somebody told me at 40 that I was intellectually disabled, it would affect me right now. Imagine a 7-year-old. Why do y'all share labels with the children? The worst thing you can do with a badass little boy is tell him You got ADHD and you can't control your behavior. Huh? You don't tell him that. You thought he was killing all the cats, now you're gonna kill all the dogs too. Oh, we got some crazy black kids. Don't get it twisted. I didn't say everybody was healthy. This is how you gotta watch them make kids with. I want to go through the whole family tree. You had the killers in there, rapists. Who you had in your damn family? Because you know, in African culture, all of us are an ancestor come back, and there's no guarantee you're going to be a good one. This is why I don't understand why y'all be mixing y'all seed with non-African people. What the hell wrong with you? Like, we got him marrying who? Thomas Swinskenberg. She wanted to have triplets with Thomas Swinskenberg. Who the hell in history? Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, son of Sam. The hell wrong with you, baby? Come out with a hatchet and a blackjack. Stop having babies with none. White girl came up to me one time, Dr. Umar, can I have your baby? Hell no, ain't out in the dead. We ain't trying to bring her back. And why am I against interracial marriage? It's not because I hate white people. I don't want you to hate white people. I want you to understand white people. Understand. And in order to understand white people, you got to understand the rules of racism. The number one rule of racism is all white people are racist. I said, oh my God, that's kind of harsh. I have a white Jesus in my house. How dare you! I didn't say all white people hate black people. I said all white people are racist. And there's a big difference between being a bigot and being a racist. You can be both, but you don't have to be. See, the bigot hates you just because you're black. The racists don't hate you, but the racists want to make sure that you don't get the same opportunities they get. Racism is not about emotions. Racism is about strategy. Racism is about control of resources, opportunities, and privileges. Any brother in here with a white girl, I'll bet you my last dollar that white girl you sleeping with could care less about black people getting their fair share of resources, opportunities, and power. That's right. She can love you, sex you, have your little babies, everything you want, but she'll never fight to end racism. But white folks know how to play off the suckers. They come to your Kwanzaa event with their little Chinese-made kente cloth on. They get their little nasty locks. Bring a bowl of that nasty bread and pudding. I was traumatized. I had an uncle with a white girlfriend. And I went over there one day to help him do some moving. And it was lunchtime. I said, oh, shit. She said, would you like a turkey sandwich? I wanted to say no, but he was looking at me. So I said, yes, ma'am. I was like 12. And she brought me this living organism. The turkey and the cheese started walking off the plate. And the mayonnaise was so thick, I thought it was you damn Massachusetts Negro. And you know what the worst thing is, black woman? You ever come down the street with the black man have his Caucasian queen, and he see a black woman approaching, he go out of his way not to speak to our sisters when he with the damn Beckys. Black women know what I'm talking about. He's so in love, he can't even say hi to a black woman. So his queen can become. Go ask Bill Cosby how loyal white women are. Bill Cosby needed help to go to the bathroom, help to get dressed. He's still in high spirits because Bill Cosby said, I'm going to outlive this Because I'm going to get out and tell the world what really happened. Cosby is motivated to tell the truth. He didn't molest all the white girls. Did you see the main accuser? It was like a damn man. She had a neck like Mike Tyson. No Philly man with no white woman with a neck like Mike Tyson and a damn jughead. What woman you know gets sexually abused and continues to contact the abuser? You know what happened? I'm going to tell you the real reason Bill Cosby in jail. And if I'm not mistaken, it has something to do with your state. Bill and Camille Cosby got a house up here in Massachusetts. And the second largest oil company in the country wants to drill under their house in order to get to this untapped oil reserve. And Bill and Camille said, we're not selling the house. So soon when they say we're not selling the house to the oil company, next thing you know, 40 ugly white girls come up out the blue and accuse this man of sexual improprieties. That's how racism works. That's racism. They don't care how much money Bill Cosby spent on them. They don't care whether he put their kids through college and everything else. When the white man called the white woman up and said, listen, that was pleasure. This is business. And that's what you black men gave these white girls by to understand. Remember what Ezekiel Elliott, my girlfriend, said to him 2 seasons ago? She said, if I call the cops, you still black. Yes! These white women know they got y'all. And y'all made it bad for the brothers who don't want them. Because whenever I'm at work, I got my suit on, going to evaluate some kids. I get on the elevator with 3 of them. They're looking to make sure I'm not looking. Look at that butt with your flat. Let us get back to the special ed. Special education is a federal law. So what I'm about to share with you applies to you whether you live in Connecticut, Boston, Philly, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. It's federal. No child can go to special ed unless they have a disability. But some of you got kids in special ed with no disability. How the hell did your child get in special ed with no disability? 1 or 2 ways. White folks was bold enough to take them and throw them in there, because it do happen from time to time. They'll break all the laws and just put them in there. Or you sign that paper for that evaluation. So Dr. Umar, I want to give y'all some rules that y'all need to start using for the schools. Now, you want to get a copy of my book because you need to read it cover to cover, because I got all the letters you need to give to the schools inside of that book right there. But absent that, let's talk about some of the rules you need for the schools. Rule number 1, if your child is 8 years old or under, why are they being tested for any damn thing? Help me understand how a 7-year-old got a reading problem. Help me understand how a 6-year-old got a math problem. Help me understand how a 5-year-old got an ADHD problem. And speaking of that little hustle, because you know it's a hustle, how much money they make off of medication? $30 billion a year off of pharmaceuticals for the brain. And they up here making money off all these black kids in Springfield because y'all believe anything white folks tell you. When do we get ADD? When do we get ADD? 1980. Attention Deficit Disorder. It was only ADD. There was no hyperactivity in 1980. The hyperactivity didn't come until 1987. What else happened in 1980? The CIA dropped off crack. So they started drugging up the adults and drugging up the kids at the same time. Oh yes. And then 1987 they added an H. Why did they make it attention deficit hyperactivity? Why didn't they just leave it attention deficit disorder? Because there's no drug that can make you pay attention. You can't get paid off of inattention. There's nothing I can give your son to make him pay attention to that white lady. There's nothing I can give your son to make him listen to the George Washington lesson. There's no drug for inattention. There's only drugs for hyperactivity. So guess what? Every child today, even if they're not hyper, they're going to be considered hyper. Because that's the way the American Psychiatric Association set it up for the Wall Street drug companies. This is about money. Ain't no mental health in Massachusetts for black kids. How many of y'all have had children go through behavioral health, intensive case manager, crisis management, wraparound services, mobile therapist, behavior specialist, partial hospitalization, full hospitalization? And he's just as crazy now as he was when he started. But guess what? The agency that provides you with all these fake services, they make about $250,000 a year off of one black kid, billing the state for wraparound services for a black boy whose only problem is fatherlessness.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. ADHD. It's a damn joke. Have you ever read the criteria for ADHD? Can't play quietly? What child plays quietly? What? You see, there's some white shit. What child plays quietly? That's, if you don't believe me, pull it up. That's the criteria for ADHD. I never played quiet. In fact, if ADHD was out when I was around, I would have been cracked all over. I was the class clown and everything. Thank God that stuff wasn't out when I was around. I'll probably be this tall. Loses things necessary to get his work done. Taps with his hands and feet. Wait a minute, we from the hip-hop generation. Man, it's all we did in class was get there and blurts out answers. Don't every child blurt out answers when they know it? How is that a mental disease? Do you know what ADHD really is? It is the weaponization of black masculinity. Because schools are run by women. They have made being a black boy a problem. And any black boy with traditional alpha male qualities will be marginalized and demonized. That's why we got to build our own schools. The only black boys who are alpha males. Now, if you got a little beta, you can make it. You come in there with that little skinny necktie, them skinny jeans, and them flat shoes, and that high-pitched voice, he gonna be all right. But let a little chocolate African boy with a broad nose and a deep voice like Barry White walk up in it. Oh no, he can't be in here. And don't let your son be smarter than the teacher. Oh, what happens? I've seen students smarter than their teacher. Yes! I remember I evaluated this one black boy. He said, Dr. Umar, you know why I don't go to school? Because I'm smarter than everybody in here. Don't you know I tested this boy? He tested off the charts for mentally gifted. All his academic levels was above high school. I went back to the meeting. The white folks said, so what do we do with him? I said, send his ass to college. True. There's nothing y'all can do. Here's the problem with Springfield public schools, just like Philly and everywhere else. The schools are designed to focus on black children's problems. When they come across a child with gifts, they don't know what to do with them. And speaking of gifts, the reason why so few children in Massachusetts are classified as mentally gifted is because the feds took mental giftedness out of the special ed code several years ago. You know what that means? That means the schools don't get paid anymore for finding the mentally gifted children. That means that nobody is looking for the black children who are exceedingly intelligent. See, let me explain something. Special ed is a business. Special ed is a hustle. Special ed is a racket. Let me make it real simple. I evaluate princess, speech and language problem. I evaluate princess, autism. I evaluate princess, reading disability. I evaluate princess, hearing impairment. I evaluate princess, speech and language. I evaluate this brother, NAV disability. Once I do my evaluation, and once I qualify them for special ed, their name goes into a computer, it gets transferred to the Massachusetts State Department of Education. I hit one button, and by the end of the week, end of the month, each of their schools will get a welfare check from the State Department of Education. And they will get that welfare check every year. that that child stays in special ed. So let me break it down even more simpler to y'all. Let's say in Springfield, Massachusetts, they spend about $9,000 per regular child. 12. So do you know what that means? The special ed kids are probably close to 20. What is 20? Did you hear that? So everybody here is a student in Springfield College. We all worth $12,000 a year. But the minute I said she's autistic, she ain't 12. She 20. You know what that means? That's an extra 8 to 10,000 for one kid. So if she's an extra 10, let's round it off to 10. She's in second grade because her parents were silly enough to let them test her in second grade. She got 10 more years of school. 10,000 times 10 years is 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 kids is an extra million. What about 20? 2 million. What about 30? 3 million. What about 50? 5 million. Can I ask you a question? How many black kids in Springfield has an IEP? How many white people are living in the suburbs, paying a mortgage and driving a damn Benz because you let white folks give your child a disability that don't even exist? This is why they never take the black kids out of special ed once they put them in special ed, because the money stops. Now some of you will say, well, wait a minute, Dr. Umar. Is that why they keep on pressuring me to evaluate my kindergartner? They've been pressuring me all year to get him tested. The teacher swears he got a reading problem because they want that damn money. And I'll give you another reason they're pressuring you. There's a special ed teacher in that school who only got 4 kids in her class. The code says 12, but she only got 4. So the principal is thinking about writing her position out of next year's budget and taking them 4 kids and either send them to another school that can service them or split them amongst the existing special ed classes. She won't lose her job, but she will be sent to another building. She don't want to go because she's part of a little white woman's clique in that school. So guess what? They're going to help her keep her job by doing what? Finding your kids. Because they know y'all don't want to read, y'all don't want to listen, y'all do whatever white people tell you to do. You're going to sign them up for special ed. And by Christmas break, she'll have her 12. I see it every day. You can't tell me nothing about what they do. See, every school in Springfield got a white teacher's mafia in it. The school is not ran by the principal, it's ran by the white teacher mafia. And you know what happens? When black people get hired at the public school in Springfield, they got a decision to make. Do you want to be a part of the team? Because if you don't, we'll get you transferred to another school. You better do what we tell you to do. I've seen white teachers bully the principal. That's why I said earlier, if you black, you ain't no principal, you a manager of miseducation. And then everybody all on my back on YouTube, why Dr. Umar don't want to open up a charter school? Why he want this independent black school? With his credentials, he can easily get a charter school. You damn right I could. And I could lose it just as quickly. Because charter schools were not started to help black children. Y'all got charter schools in Springfield?
Yes.
About how many?
Well, 8
At least.
3.
Popping up every day? Well, guess what? Tell me if I'm wrong. And I've done no research on Springfield. If you got charter schools in Springfield, guess what else I know what you got in Springfield? Gentrification. Gentrification. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me white folks in Springfield buying up the ghetto right now. Tell me I'm wrong. Dr. Umar, how did you know just because we had charter schools, we got ethnic cleansing? You know how I know? Because I live in Philadelphia. Who has the most charter schools in the country? Philadelphia. And who leads the country in gentrification? Philadelphia. So let me tell you how they're going to move y'all out your neighborhood if y'all don't do something about it. So all y'all live in the blackest section of Springfield, but you're blocking some new development plans. And see, the coonocracy in City Hall, my problem with the elected officials ain't that they don't do nothing. It's one of the coons and let them front the charter school. So the coon comes in. My name is Dr. Amin Ra Potep Ganoum Ashanti Lumumba. And I am the Dean of Students at the new We Hate Black People Charter Middle School of Springfield. We're going to give your child a chance at a real education. We're having an opening session for parents. We want you to come. We will have watermelon and chicken. And then when you get there, there's going to be a few more black people. Like, okay, it's all right. But there's going to be a whole bunch of Caucasians start coming in. This is the math teacher, white. This is the reading teacher, white. This is the vice principal, white. Like, wait a minute, I thought this. But I'm going to go with it because they said they care about black folks. So guess what happened? All the white folks you just met, they're going to become your neighbors. And your relatives are going to become your neighbors. And they're going to start buying up all the abandoned houses, the rundown houses, the vacant lots, the stores that nobody wants, the drug corners. They're going to buy it all up. But you're not going to say nothing because after all, that's my child's math teacher. I think it's a good thing she lived on the corner. All they did was sell dope over there. So the fact you got a teacher there, how is that a bad thing? But what you don't realize is once enough of them move in, they're going to see to it that the property value raises up. And then all the retired black folks will have to start selling their house and moving out because they can't afford to pay property tax. And then more and more whites going to take over. And that school that you thought was so black is, it's going to start getting whiter and whiter and whiter. And before you know it, you can't afford to go to the school no more because you can't afford to live in the neighborhood. And so what you thought was the Frederick Douglass School became the damn Adolf Hitler charter school. Listen to me. The best way to get rid of black people out of a residential neighborhood is open up a charter school and make them think it's for their kids. The more charter schools you get, the more gentrification you get. Not to mention that when the charter school opens, it's going to take students from an existing public school. So that existing public school has to shut down. And then they're going to sell that existing public school to the white developers. And that's going to be student apartments or a new strip mall. First of all, black people crazy. This is how I know black people crazy. Negroes will see a brand new movie theater and think it's for them. When did white folks start building brand new institutions for the ghetto? I saw a Negro in North Philly the other day, a new Starbucks, and oh my God, they gave us a Starbucks. This ain't for you! When you see a Starbucks, a movie theater, or Walmart, that means the hood is done. It's not no damn Starbucks for the black people. No Walmart for you. You know, a Walmart Supercenter 5 minutes from the shoot 'em up zone? Really? This is ethnic cleansing. So parents, number one, don't get the babies evaluated. And why don't I want the babies evaluated? I'll be on the phone talking to people, right? Ever since I went to Africa. I'll be on the phone talking. They'll hang up, and then I'll start hearing white folks talk. I'm like, yeah, what did y'all hear? They tapping me. If you ever text me, they tapping you too. In fact, they got all your license plates. But don't be afraid. You gotta stop being scared of white folks. That's right. Let them do whatever the hell they want to do. We're gonna do whatever the hell we got to do. Stop being scared of white folks! While this grouping up, because I think y'all have philosophical exemption. Do you know what that means? In most states, you need a medical exemption or religious exemption. You either need a doctor's excuse or you belong to a religion that don't allow vaccinations. Right? So you might have to claim Mormonism next week. I'm a black Mormon! The third exemption, philosophical. We had philosophical in Pennsylvania. They had philosophical in Maine. They had philosophical in Ohio. There's 18 states with philosophical. Philosophical exemption says all you gotta do is write a note and get it notarized. My child will not be receiving vaccinations as per the state's philosophical exemption clause because I don't trust white people at all or nothing you make. I I take full responsibility for my decision. My child can go to class, get it notarized, give it to the school secretary, life goes on. I think Massachusetts has it. Let me check. My phone is on. Let me see.
We have it.
Y'all have it?
Yeah.
Because if y'all have it, then I want to know why y'all kids still get shot up.
Y'all know about philosophy.
I don't see y'all on my list.
Well, you can write a note for your child and
They will honor it. Okay. So y'all have a working philosophical. Use it. Use it. Because it has already been proven that the MMR, measles, mumps, and rebellion, is the trigger for black boys. The chemicals in the MMR shot interacts with the melanin of the black boy and is triggering the autism. This is why your son was talking fine before he got the MMR shots. After he got that damn MMR shot, he ain't said a word since. And here's my question for black people who believe you need vaccination. Because see, some of y'all took the COVID. Let me tell you who else took the COVID. DMX took the COVID. He an ancestor now. Cicely Tyson, our greatest black trailblazing actor, took the COVID. She's an ancestor now. Hank Aaron, one of our greatest black baseball players, took the COVID. He's an ancestor now. Marvelous Marvin Hagler took the COVID. And guess how we know he took the COVID? Because his former competitor turned good friend, Tommy Hearns, another great middleweight champion from Detroit, said, Marvin told me he took the shot. 3 days later, he was in the emergency room. I know the COVID killed him. Y'all better stop taking white folks shots. Can I ask you a question? White folks were trying to get rid of you since the end of slavery. Why would they give you anything to help you live longer? I'm trying to figure that out. I was at the doctor the other day. He said, Dr. Umar, you want this COVID shot? I said, after you! Because you know a lot of doctors don't even take that stuff. They don't believe in that. They want to give your daughter the HPV shot in her cervix. Why would you let them stick a needle in your baby's cervix talking about we want to prevent cancer? No, you don't. You want to prevent black childbirth. Y'all remember back in the 80s and the 90s, they used to put the Norplant in black women's arms. Black women developed cervical cancer, breast cancer, couldn't have another baby. And that's why black women got to be careful when you terminate your pregnancies, because what they're doing now is when they terminate your pregnancy, they messing up your fallopian tube so you never get pregnant again. Has anybody ever heard of Fannie Lou Hamer? One of the greatest black female organizers in American history. And by the way, and I love me some Dr. King, he's one of my greatest. But it wasn't Dr. King who got us the Voting Rights Act. It was Fannie Lou Hamer. When Fannie Lou Hamer went to the U.S. Congress and testified on behalf of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party and told them what black people were going through in Mississippi, dying and being lynched and being hanged for the right to vote. It was her testimony that got the Voting Rights Act passed. In fact, it was so powerful because it was broadcast on TV that Lyndon Baines Johnson went to an emergency presidential address to block her out. But it backfired on that cracker because guess what the news did that night? They replayed Fannie Lou Hamer's whole speech for the world to see. And it was Fannie Lou Hamer, a black woman, that gave you the right to vote. Damn it! This is what I want you to know about Fannie Lou. Did you know that Fannie Lou Hamer was sterilized against her will? She went into a hospital one time for a procedure that had nothing to do with tying her fallopian tubes. They permanently clipped and burnt her. She found out later that she could never have kids. They used to do this to our grandmothers and great-grandmothers without permission. And I'm telling you, black women now, they're still doing it to y'all. Y'all have to be careful. I'm not here to judge nobody. Everybody got their history. I'm just saying, black women, be careful, because you might try to terminate this one and find out you'll never have enough. Be careful. White folks do not take pleasure in delivering black babies. And for me personally, I think it's a spiritual holocaust that the first hands that a black child touches when they come into this world is that of a devil. That's right. Your baby was in heaven for 10 months! And they take their first breath and they see blue eyes and blonde hair, and you wonder why they ass is screaming and kicking! Take me back! oldest daughter was born, that devil had my baby. He had to give me my baby, but it was his hands who touched her first. I got a problem with that. Baptizing our babies into white supremacy. That's why I'm hoping some of you black women go to midwifery school and become a doula, a licensed deliverer of children. We need that. Because back before the 1950s, you couldn't go to the hospital and have no damn baby. They didn't let black babies be born in the hospital. We had them at home, and we need to go back to that, because they'll live a lot longer. And guess what? You're going to make a lot of money, because there's always a baby to be birthed. So some of you sisters better go and get that certificate. I know sisters who do nothing but deliver babies. They are busy all day long. Just go open you up a little practice next to the projects. I ain't mad at the projects. I grew up in the project. I was in the projects as a kid. I might even marry a sister from the projects. Because they can fight! No damn PhD woman gonna fight! She gonna run and call the cops! Project woman can fight, and she can cook. No damn woman with no 6 degrees gonna cook no food! I'm picking with you ladies. Let me say this. If any of you ever get an evaluation that says your child is intellectually disabled, I want you to send it to Dr. Umar. I do not charge to review the evaluation of any black child in the United States and territories who is classified as intellectually disabled. The reason why is black kids are 4 times as likely to be called retarded when they're not. So don't you ever get a report saying your child is intellectually underdeveloped without sending it to Dr. Umar. That is a free service. I don't ever want to hear again. Massachusetts, the school said my kid was intellectually disabled, and I didn't know what to do. Because it's something that you all need to know. Federal special ed law gives you a right to a second opinion. If you ever get your child tested in the school and you don't agree with the conclusion, you have a right to a second opinion. You choose the psychologist and the school district pays the bill. I know because I do it in Pennsylvania all the time. In fact, I do so many of them that the white folks just call me up before the parent do and say, we know they're going to call you, Malcolm, come get the paperwork! Problem is we got to find some black revolutionary psychologists in Massachusetts who will look out for y'all when y'all say, hey, I need a second opinion. Because I ain't going to lie, psychologists be cooning. And you know why they be cooning? It's a lot of money to be made. I just told you mental health is money. They paying $20,000, $15,000 a eval. I could be a millionaire in 6 months if I would give all this up and join the conocracy. But I'm not going to do it. Because I wasn't born to step up. I was born to step up. You must live for something greater than money. The ends you serve will only take you as far as your selfish agenda. But the ends you serve for other people will take you into eternity. That is a quote from the most honorable Marcus Messiah God. Don't go to any more school meetings alone. Mothers, stop going to the school by yourself. Take a sister, take your mother, take your father, take your girlfriend. I wish you could take the father. Fathers, stop going to school meetings on your own. Take the child's mother, take your sister, take your mother. Don't go by yourself. Why? Because public education is a criminal enterprise. And you need a witness to everything said and agreed upon. Why do you think the white folks always gang up on you when you go for a meeting? 1 black mother, 20 whites, and 2 conocracy members. You ever notice that? You go to a meeting about your child, his behavior, 1 black mother, and you got to meet with the principal, the vice principal, the principal intern, the dean of students, the grade leader, the social worker, the counselor, the nurse, the psychologist, the floor sweeper, the window washer, the trash man, the bus driver. 20 white people for 1 black mother. That is done for 2 reasons. Number 1, they want to bully you. They want you to believe that because you don't have these degrees that these white people got, you don't know what you're talking about. So they gang up on you to force you to sign your damn signature. And I'm here to tell y'all something. You better never forget it. If you don't remember nothing else I said this afternoon, Massachusetts, you are always the expert on your child. Go ahead. When I evaluate a child, I might evaluate your child for 3 days, maybe 2. If they work fast, maybe 1. As good as I am, I can never know your child as well as you can. You carry that baby, you raise that baby, you seen that baby, you know things about your child nobody else knows. How dare you relinquish your parent power to a bunch of white folks who will not have to suffer the side effects of decisions going wrong. When you in that meeting, you better tell yourself, the only people who will be affected by what is decided here is me and my baby. When he leaves this preschool, these white folks will never see him again or look for him. When he leaves this elementary school, these white folks will never see him again or look for him. When he leaves this middle school, this high school, these white folks will never see him again or look for him. Don't ever sign something you don't agree with. And my next rule, don't sign nothing you don't understand. I'm tired of black parents signing paperwork you don't even understand. I didn't know what it was. It was 20 pages long. They said it would benefit my son. I just signed it. That's how we ended up on them damn slave ships. White folks told us, just come with us. We'll take care of the rest. You better stop listening to white folks who say, just come with us. We'll take care of the rest. Don't care about your damn son. The school ain't nothing but a slave ship that sits on land instead of water. Stop going by yourself. Always take somebody with you to take notes. Stop signing paperwork on the spot. Don't let these schools in Massachusetts make you think you got to sign something on the spot. And you know how they get you to sign? They say, we're running late. If we don't get this in, we're going to be in trouble. And then you're supposed to say, no, cracker, you're going to be in trouble. I am the mother. I don't have a timeline. I am the father. I don't have a timeline. And I need all y'all to understand, a parent don't have a damn timeline. It's your baby. If they say we need it this Friday, I should have had it last Friday. We need it right now. Do you really need this? Oh yes, today is the deadline. I should have had it Tuesday. If you want me to sign it, I'll take it home. I might bring it back tomorrow. I might. But I don't sign nothing on the spot. And you know how you really get with them? You tell them, I don't make no decisions about my child unless I talk to the father. I don't make no decisions about my child unless I talk to the mother. And you know what else you do when they want to bring 50 people to a meeting against you? You bring 52. I lie to you not, it works. Black woman, this is what you do. Go to the corner and get all the corner boys together. Mike, Tay, and the weed boy, all of them. You tell them I got a meeting for my son. I want y'all to sit outside. I'm going to text you a number. The number I text you is the amount of Caucasians and coons in my meeting. I want you to walk in and say, you are here with me to see about your nephew. That might not even be his nephew. It don't matter. Because in African culture, everybody is auntie. That's right. Right? That's right. So they bring 10 white folks. You tell Mike, I need 10. Mike gonna come in there with 10 brothers with Timberlands, white beaters, and tattoos and cornrows. I'm here for my nephew. What's up? What we gonna do? He ain't taking no drugs. What we gonna do? Because I'm about to turn this off. Bring you some corner boys in there with you. I bet you won't be no special ed. Yo, really? White folks are scared of black men who have nothing to lose. Black women only go to the school meeting with alpha males. Don't you bring your no babies. Don't you come in your little skinny super and Negroes. I'm telling you, white folks don't respect babies. Come in there with a couple of alphas. They see them tattoos. Oh, don't let them have his prison number right there. Oh my God. Your son might be valedictorian before the meeting's over. Next rule. Stop telling your business to your child's teacher. Your child's teacher is not your friend. I know why you do it, black woman, because a lot of you don't have good relations with your siblings. You might have issues with your parents. So you're often alone and isolated. If you need somebody to talk to, get you a life coach, get you a counselor. You can text me. I'll refer you to a psychologist who will give you a psychologist. But do not get dependent on a teacher as your emotional support. Y'all start telling them too much, and guess what? They always use it against you. You need to understand something. The school is an extension of the prison industrial complex. The principal is the new warden. The teacher, the new police officer. And everything you say can and will be used against you. Why did you tell that damn white woman that you lived in your mama's basement with 4 kids? Why did you tell that principal you are a recovering alcoholic? Why did you tell the assistant teacher's aide that your son's father just got locked up for selling crack? You're giving them all they need. And when they finally tell you we want him on some Ritalin, we want him on some Medicaid, you need some Cyclip, some Prozac, some Risperdal, some Depakote, and you say no, guess what they gonna call? DCF. And they gonna come to your house and investigate you, and if you don't get that boy some crack, they're gonna take all your kids. Not just the one, they take the whole house. And guess who they give them to? White folks. And not only white folks, sexually liberated families. Yes, rainbow gang, rainbow gang. I see what I'm saying. And why do they give black kids to white folks into the rainbow gang? You know why? Because black people are the least likely to foster and adopt our own children. Ain't that damn shame? If you look at all the people who are willing to adopt black kids, you're not on the list. We don't care about children unless they're our own. That's right. And you wonder why they're out here killing each other. Right. How are they going to show love if they never felt it? I want to motivate all y'all again to become an adoptive parent or a foster. If you can't be permanent, be a foster. And if you can't be a foster, don't you know you can be an emergency placement parent? That means we only call you if we got to take a kid out of a house, there's an emergency, they may come stay with you for a week or two until we find a more permanent placement. You can do that. Just show a black child some love once in a while. If you're scared of the teenagers, get the preteens. If you're scared of the preteens, get the pre-adolescents. But show a black child some love so they know how to give something once in a while. I was going to die. Then one day Moses came down and said, you got to have a biological son to carry on your legacy. I'm just joking. But the thing is, because I'm opening up a school, I might not have to adopt. Because as you know, unfortunately, tragedy is a part of human existence. And so some of my children will lose their parents. And I'm not letting them go to no home. You feel me? That's why we're going to have to build a dormitory at some point in Delaware, because I'm not giving none of my child. His father died, her mother died, they're not going to no home. I'm going to get with my teachers, and we're going to find a way to raise these kids together. We ain't giving none of them up. Could I ask you a question? And I'm going to prepare to wrap up because it's 5. I want to be done by 5:30 to give you guys enough time for some questions, and then I want to sign books and take pictures as well. But let me ask you this. Do you remember a time, if you're 40 or older, you remember a time where child services had no place in the black community? Do you remember a time where if the next door neighbor got locked up and their son came over and said, Mr. Umar, my dad got locked up, we did not call the caseworker. We said, go get your little brother and your little sister and your school clothes and your school books. I don't know what's going to happen with your dad, but I want y'all to know this. Y'all belong to this family until he gets back. And if you don't come back, y'all will be with us until you're done school. Who remembers that? And then you would go to school every day, clean, homework done. Sometimes you stayed with them for 10 years, graduated with that family next door, and the white folks never knew their parents wasn't home. What happened to us? How did we get so damn selfish? We don't even think about taking nobody anymore. It amazes me how so few black parents don't even meet their children's playmates anymore. My father and mother wanted to meet everybody I played with. Some of y'all don't even know who your kids is hanging with. How do you not invite them in the house for dinner? Do you know how much you learn from people when you eat with them? Why do you think businesses always want to take you to lunch and dinner before they make you sign a deal? Because when you eat food and when you drink, the processes of the brain that give rise to anxiety and worry and sadness and depression while you're eating and drinking, they are suspended. That's why some of us use food and drink as a drug to placate our emotional problems because they sedate worry. So you bring your children's friends to the house and give them a little dinner or lunch. What's your mom do for a living? What's your daddy do for a living? You get to learn about who your children are around. That don't mean you want to stop them from hanging with them, but it's mean you want to spend more time hanging with them. Brothers and sisters, as I prepare to wrap up, please understand that the education of black children is our responsibility, not white people. And until we take it seriously, we will never liberate our children. White people were never meant to teach black children who they are. I did not support the move for black history in the schools. I'm not against it, but I don't support it. Because I don't believe white people should be teaching black kids who they are. I don't want some European telling my daughter who Harriet Tubman was. I don't want some European telling your son who the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey was. I don't want them interpreting Malcolm X for our children. Some things you gotta fight white people for, like the criminal justice system. But why are you fighting white people to teach black kids who they are? Ain't that your job? Don't you have a black church in every corner? Why can't there be a free black history class? Why are we expecting white people to do everything? We are a $2 trillion people. $2 trillion. You're the richest group of Africans in the world. You're the 10th richest economic power on the planet. So can somebody explain to me with that type of money we got? Can somebody explain to me if we can spend $2 million on Ed Jordan every year, and if we can spend $4 million on liquor every year, and if we... Why doesn't the black community of Springfield, Massachusetts have a bank that you own? An independent school that you own? A hospital that you own? A supermarket that you own? A distribution network that you own? And a manufacturing sector to produce products and services that we need to give jobs to black men and black women. You can't stand in guts. Black women, if you want to work at my school, send me your resume. Black men, if you would like to work at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, send me your resume. If you buy a book today, you want to get a bookmark, the resume email address is on there. If you don't get a book today, the resume email address is FDMG resumes with an S. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. We need math, we need science, we need language. You don't have to worry about history, because I'm the damn history teacher at my school. Oh yes, your child has Dr. Umar as a teacher, and I'm going to be cutting up. And I'm going to tell you right now, if your house is a conocracy, do not send your child to my school. If you got a white Jesus hanging up in that damn hole, do not send your child to my school, because he's going to come home after the first day totally liberated. He's going to come home and kick the door. Boom! Mother, take that damn weed out your head, girl! Black woman, I love you whether you got a weave or not. You know that. But at my school, you have to be natural, because you cannot come before my boys as an example of the divine African feminine energy, and you not look how God made you. Because there's nothing wrong with the way God made you. Somebody convinced you that you gotta look like a white woman to be beautiful. Not at mine. At the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, there will be no weave, no perm, no European hair color, and no Jerry curls, because I heard Jerry curls coming back in Springfield. They're not too far from Bobby Brown and them up in Boston. Brothers, you can't work at my school if you're dating an alien. It's just that simple. You ain't got to like it. See, I believe in black divinity. are a divine people. We are the oldest people. And we are the only people who actually has God as an ancestor. Because everybody else came from us, but we came from nobody else. Our DNA is from God. So why would God take his DNA and plant it inside of the womb of a devil? Stop laughing. Now, my mixed race Africans, I claim you. You African too. Your mother black, your father black, you African too. But you got to make up your mind to be that. Because some mixed race Africans want to be black at the Dr. Umar lecture, and then you want to be white with your grandparents on the weekend. Make up your mind. I do not discriminate against light skin, dark skin, straight hair, white mom, black dad, black mom, white dad. If you identify with the race, I am body. Are you biologically black and are you psychologically black? I had a brother text me the other day, Dr. Umar being his Puerto Rican sister. Is she acceptable? Does she identify as an African? Because if she don't, she's not acceptable. It ain't just about the blood in your body, it's about the blackness in your psychology.
That's right. Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, as I close, take out your phone so I can give you my phone number in case you ever got to reach me. If you ever get a piece of paper from the school and you don't understand it, all you have to do is take a picture of it and text it to me. Dr. Umar, I got this from the school today. Can you please tell me what this means? If your question is longer than 5 sentences, do not text me no damn book. Send me an email. Okay? I'm going to give you the phone number twice, and I'm going to give you the email twice. My phone number is 215 989 9858. I repeat. 215 989 9858. Email is simply my name without a period after doctor. It's drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. Again, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. If you need a personal consultation, don't bother reaching out to me unless you have all your children's paperwork. Because I'm tired of parents calling me for consultations. And my first question is, do you have your child's psychological evaluation? Because if you don't have a psychological evaluation, how can I help you without seeing what the white folks wrote? In America, a special ed child is evaluated every 3 years. Every 3. So if your child is in 8th grade and you put him in special ed in the first, which was trifling, but you didn't know no better. So he was evaluated in the first, 3 years later is the 4th, 3 years later is the 7th, so your 8th grade should have how many? 3 psychological reports. Some of y'all ain't even got one. So what do you do if you don't have any psychological reports? And this is another reason why you need my book, because it's in there. You need to write a letter to the principal of your child's school. Dr. Slurbanowski, my daughter, Rashida Jones, is a 5th grader at We Ain't Black People Charter School. I am requesting a complete copy of her academic record to include all report card, standardized testing, special ed, discipline, and classroom teacher notes. This is my right according to the Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1975. I understand you have 45 days to comply with my request. I understand you cannot charge me for this service, but you can charge me for the cost of the copy. Please let me know when my child's record will be ready. Thank you very much. These are laws that you need to know. And the only way you're going to know is if you get that book on that table. Don't be calling me tomorrow with no damn emergency. You could have got the damn book. You might not be kidding. I'm picking with you. And ladies, don't be calling me acting like you need help with your child. When you're really trying to get a little shake them down with the prince. Okay? I was on this one Zoom. And ladies, I'm working on my sisters only relationships and dating book. And once it's done, I'm gonna get with Brother Gary, and I'm gonna come back to Springfield, and I gotta do my sisters only relationships and dating seminar. But let me give you a little taste. There's 5 types of men you need to look out for. Most brothers in Springfield are good brothers. Most brothers in Massachusetts are good brothers. Most brothers. Are the brothers treating y'all right, ladies, up here in Springfield? They got in the couch potato. Y'all better stop! The pimp wants to use the woman for her financial assets. He is a user. He wants to live off you. He wants to freeload off you. He does not do anything for you. It is a one-way relationship. He is a financial blood sucker. And some of you women are also suckers. And it takes one to catch one. And if you let a man come into your life and use you for your credit card, your credit score, you better cut it out! Say, if you are a weak sister, do not read this book, because you are not allowed to blame the black man for anything that goes wrong in your life. You are the problem. So that's the pimp. But then you have the player. Stop! The player is the opposite. His own business, his own credit score. There's a cookie monster in every hood. And let me tell you something about the cookie monster. Listen, most men got a little bit of cookie monster in us until we find our queen. Once we find the queen, we give up the cookies on the side. But some men have a problem. Even when they find the one they need to keep an assortment of cookies on standby. Oh, yeah. See, some men will play until they find the right one. Some men will play until they get put in the grave. And sisters, you got to find out, is your man just looking for the right one until he finds you? He's done. Player card burned. Or do you have a permanent player? He'll be 70 years old, still pimping the house. And who's next? So that's the pimp and the player. And then you have the couch potato. Cut it out! The couch potato is a Negro who was spoiled by his mother. Oh my God. Black mothers, I gotta say something. If you're raising a black boy and you're a sister, please listen to me. First of all, I support all black women raising these boys, because you gotta do it by yourself and it ain't easy. And you don't often get help from brothers in the community who see you struggling. So I empathize with black mothers raising boys, but some of y'all are destroying them. Some of you are making them weak. Some of you are effeminizing them. I didn't say homosexualizing them. I said effeminizing them to the point where they will be no good for somebody else's daughter. Stop loving that boy and start raising him. If your response to your son is nothing but love, even when he messes up, you ain't making no man. You're making a man child. Listen, too many black women are getting karma because you're looking for a black man, but you ain't making a good one yourself. You want a man responsible, but your son died. The kid's off at school. He is simply there to breathe. But if you're a little sucker, if you're a sister with that daddy issue, and I'm not laughing at daddy issues because they're real, but you have to take control over your pathology and control it. Because if you don't control your weaknesses, I promise you that pimp will. And then you have the impregnator. This man is like a machine. Raised none. I'm not talking about a man with a lot of kids. There's nothing wrong with that if he's in their life. I wish I had 50 if I 2 days. Okay? But be careful of the man who make them and don't raise them. That's the impregnator. He controls his women by leaving with babies so you don't go nowhere else. And then the last one is nothing to laugh at. The last one is dangerous. The last one is what I call the predator. He's a better psychologist than Dr. Umar. He walk into a room like this and he can sense the women who are desperate, thirsty, will do anything to keep them. So Dr. Umar, are you telling me I gotta leave my husband because he puts hands on me? I'm telling you, you gotta leave your husband until he gets the help he needs professionally, and that help can take a long time. No man wakes up and just decides to hit a woman. That is something he probably saw rehearsed by his father in his house, or he saw it rehearsed by his mother's boyfriend in his house, but the unconscious motive to strike a woman has never entered into his mind. It is not something you just think of. It is a product of intergenerational programming. So ladies, you ain't got to leave him, but he got to get the hell out of here. But if I'm going to talk about the dysfunctional types of men, I think I got to talk about the dysfunctional types of men. What you think, brothers? Round of applause. Y'all want to hit him live? Brothers, y'all want to hit him live? Now check this out, fellas. Look at the woman who can't sit still. Look at her. If they can't sit still, they build you up. She can't sit still. Sit still. Sit still. What are the dysfunctional female dating types? Now, most sisters in Springfield are good sisters, good wholesome sisters, good well-kept, disciplined, keep her cookies to herself sisters. But you got a couple you need to watch out for. What's the type of women we got to watch out for? You got the hopeless romantic. Stay still. The homicidal honey. Miss Hot in the Pants. The healer. And Miss High Maintenance. We already know what high maintenance is. This woman has been abused by men so much, she do the same thing to men did to her. You're only worth what you can provide. Her emotions is cut off. She can't love because she's been too hurt. She's scared to love. So she reduces men to what they can do for her. High maintenance. Anytime I see a woman who's too high maintenance, I know there's some emotional issues that are being hid away behind all the materialism and the Gucci bags and the Louis bags. They got some issues that need to be addressed. Because nobody's supposed to be that preoccupied with how they look. And then you got Miss Hot in the Pants. We ain't got to spend a lot of time on her. Cookies not even done baking. She gives them out of here. But I'm in. Sweeten up. Stop giving your cookies out. They're not done cooking. And then you got the hopeless romantic. This is the woman who falls in love with every man she meets. Ladies, by a show of hands. Do we have any hopeless romantic? Brothers, I'm going to tell y'all how this works. You take a sister out to eat. Y'all had a good time. Y'all were not physically intimate. It was a straight up date. Took her out, a couple slices of pizza. Little 3-piece of pie. Y'all had a nice day. You drop her off. You drive her back home, good day. You can't wait to see her again. You kind of feel it. She sends you a text message. Ting ting. You said, okay, cool, Roxanne. Listen to me, Derek. Very closely. What I'm going to say might sound weird, but I can promise you I'm not crazy. I come from a very spiritual family, and I can see things before they happen. And I want you to know that you are supposed to be. The worst cookie you can take is a crazy cookie. Because those cookies, you can't give them back! And then you have the healer. These women are usually over 40, but they can be young. These are women who are tired of looking for the man that they really want. So they believe they can take any man and transform him into the man of their dreams. So this is grandma who will go get Mr. Leonard the drunkard, and she'll clean Mr. Leonard up, get him some Gucci sandals, a three-piece suit, put him through college, help him open up a bar, and guess what? After Mr. Leonard get on his feet, he's gonna walk out of grandmama's life with the same shoes she bought him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be real simple. When you meet somebody, and you in love with somebody, and you try to decide if you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you better answer one question very honestly. Can I live with this person as they are for the rest of my life if they never change until the day I die? And if you can't say that, you might be making a premature decision. Black men, if you are into more than one queen, that's your right. But every queen has a right not to participate. Don't manipulate those sisters into a plural relationship that they didn't willingly and knowingly enter into. Be honest and make them decide. But I'm going to say this as I close with my quote. If you don't like yourself, why are you expecting your partner to like you? And if you can't live with yourself, why are you expecting your partner to live with you? If you know you're crazy, if you know you're crazy, if y'all don't stop laughing, little girl, if you know you're crazy, fix your own problems. Don't go drop them off on somebody's doorstep. Because in the black community, we got too many people trying to solve their problems. Guilty. He's guilty! Face it, you will never live the life that God intended for you. I'm telling you, you got to go through the pain of that domestic abuse. You got to go through the pain of that parental abandonment. You got to go through the pain of those sexual issues and those family issues and sibling rivalry and everything else you've been through. You got to go through hell, the hell of your mental past, to get to heaven. Heaven is peace of mind. Heaven is psychological bliss. Every last one of us can get there. The only question, are you committed enough to going through your baggage, sorting it out, and laying it to rest? Because if you don't, like Freddy Krueger and Jason, it will come back every year to bite your ass. Springfield, I close with a quote from my ancestor, Frederick Douglass. My family came to America in 1701. A black man by the name of Bailey, stolen from the Igbo nation of Nigeria, most likely. He was brought to Talbot County, Eastern Shore, Maryland. He married a black woman by the name of Selah, for whom my 10-year-old daughter is named. In 1745, they had Grandma Jenny. In 1774, Grandma Jenny gave birth to Grandma Betsy, born a slave, Tuckahoe Creek, Talbot County, Maryland. She married a free black man, my 5 times great-grandfather, Stephen Bailey. They had 12 children. One daughter was named Harry. Another daughter, young Betsy. Young Betsy was my 5 times great-grandmother. These 2 sisters were raped by the white man who owned our family. As a result of the rape, in February of 1818, Aunt Harry gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history, Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. In 1838, at the age of 20, cousin Frederick ran away from slavery, changed his name to Frederick Douglass to evade capture on the fugitive slave trade. In 1819, 1 year later, my 4 times great-grandfather, Frederick Douglass's first cousin and half-brother, was born, Stephen Henry Bailey. Frederick and Stephen were cousins because their mothers were sisters, but they were half-brothers because the slave master raped those sisters. Grandpa Stephen married Grandma Caroline. They had Grandpa George, my 3 times great-grandfather, who would become the first black public school teacher in Denton, Maryland. In 1861, the Civil War starts. Frederick doesn't fight, but he sends 2 of his sons, my cousins Louis and Charles. They go north to Boston, Massachusetts, and they fight in the most infamous black regiment of the Civil War, the Massachusetts 54th Colored Regiment. My grandfather Stephen and his son, my grandfather George, fought in the United States Colored Troops of Maryland. My grandfather Stephen was present in Texas on June 19, 1865, when Gordon Granger read the executive order liberating all remaining slaves in the territory of Texas. When the Civil War is over, Grandpa George marries Grandma Annie. She has Grandma Caroline. Grandma Caroline moves from Maryland to Philadelphia. She has Grandma Vivian. Grandma Vivian marries a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant, Grandpa Cicero from Cuba. They have Grandma Ida, who passed away 2 years ago. She meets and marries James Johnson. They have Jamal, who meets and marries Barbara. And on August the 21st in North Philadelphia, the anniversary of the Haitian Revolution, the anniversary of the Nat Turner Revolution, the anniversary of the George Jackson Revolution, and the anniversary of Frederick Douglass' Fugitive Slave Convention. Umar Johnson was born in Philadelphia. Frederick Douglass said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess the faith of freedom and depreciate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain, but can't stand the thunder or the lightning. They want ocean, but they're scared of the awful roar of the waters. Frederick Douglass said, a man may not get all he pays for, but you will pay for all that you get. And if we are ever to become free of the injustices inflicted upon us, we will pay for their removal. You will pay with blood, or you will pay with blows, or you will pay with your life. But he who wants to be free must strike the first blow. Frederick said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom, but the good Lord gave Frederick Douglass no freedom until I got up off my knees and prayed with my feet. He said, the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the people they oppress. We determine how poorly our oppressor will treat us. He said, but remember this, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who gave us the red, black, and green flag. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the father of Pan-Africanism and black nationalism, and leader of the largest black organization in world history, said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Marcus Garvey was once asked, are you an African or are you a Jamaican? Are you an African or are you a Jamaican? And Marcus Garvey looked up and said,
What a wonderful gift we've been given here in Springfield. We are all African, all right? There's a 30-minute question and answer period. We'd love for you to stay and also to patronize, to buy his words of wisdom. There was so much.
Spitting his knowledge. This is the Bible right here. His first book's the Bible too, but if you go on Amazon, they're trying to charge $992 for
don't
it.
buy it on Amazon. You can only get it at DrUmarJohnson.com. I'm self-published, so if you ever see my book sold by somebody else, it is a bootleg.
Now, one of the things, parents, we have a crisis in Springfield right now. School committee passed a policy to give the Springfield Police Department unrestricted access to all the cameras in the Springfield public school system. This year is a voting year. We got to get those school committee members out. We have a school committee member here. Oh, she's walking around. She's buying a book. Who voted no against that policy? We got to get all those people out. All of them out. We got to stop this, y'all, because we know what the Department of Justice said about the Springfield Police Department. I got two questions. I'm going to start off the questions with Dr. Umar. I got two questions. The first question, could you enlighten us of the dangers of black people using the term people of color? And also, I know a lot of single moms that you mentioned that have their raising their young sons and they're all medicated.
Good question. For those of you going to the table, just so you know, you can use credit card, cash, or Cash App. All right. The reason we should not use people of color is it is all inclusive of non-white people. Although we wish everybody well in their struggle for justice in this country, we have to recognize that no other group has ever fought systematically to help black people achieve equality. There's not one group you can name, not the feminists, not the Rainbow Gang, not the Latinos, not the Asians, not the Arabs, not the Irish, not the Italians, not the East Indians. No group has ever fought to help us achieve equality. That doesn't mean we don't dislike them. It doesn't mean we don't wish the best for them. But what it does mean, we cannot identify ourselves with people who are only there to exploit our struggle for their own. Second question, mothers of sons on medication. We went over the side effects, but I want to reiterate one more time. These medicines they are giving your children are pumping our boys full of estrogen. They are developing female body parts. Many of them will not be able to produce themselves when they do get married. And most of all, if you discontinue the medication, and the school finds out that you discontinue the medication, they will take your children. I can't say it enough when I say, if you don't believe in crack for kids, you don't believe in ADHD evaluations. If you don't believe in crack for kids, you don't believe in ADHD evaluations. The only solution for ADHD in America is crack. Ritalin, Adderall, Metadate, Concerta, and the list goes on. Our kids don't need drugs, they need love. Black power.
Okay, if you've got a question for Dr. Umar, please come to the mic.
Come to the mic if you have a question, family.
Now also, please, out of respect for Dr. Umar's time, he will stay here all night, all day, but we're going to manage this, we're going to respect our brother, and we're going to keep the Q&A to 30 minutes, okay? All right, thank you.
And if we don't have 30 minutes of questions, we'll go right into the book signing and photos. Go ahead, my brother.
First of all, I wanted to thank you, Dr. Umar, and thank ADMA for actually bringing Dr. Umar here.
Yes, give a round of applause for Brother Gary, the African Diaspora Mental Health Association, for making this happen today, family. Yes, sir, Brother Gary.
Very briefly, I do want to say for all of us present, if you aren't familiar with ADMA, I strongly encourage you to learn more about the services that they provide, because
That's where you can get your counseling from. Right here, Brother Gary. You don't have to look nowhere. You got it right here.
Say it again. 605 State Street.
605 State Street.
Doctor, I understand that getting to where we want to be with regard to the issues around public education is a process. I'm curious to know if you have any thoughts on the movements in hamlets and large municipalities across these United States to prohibit race theory education, whether it's in public access school or whether it's in higher education, and particularly the implications as it applies to education or school boards across this nation.
Yes, sir. For those of y'all who don't know, to the brother's point on critical race theory, there is a movement in America to do two things in the schools. I'm not talking about the Rainbow Gang, they've already done this, to what they did to us. They want nobody to learn about it. This is part of the sanitization of American history. And they're not waiting until they get rid of us to do it. They're doing it while you're here. The second movement, they want to prevent the teaching of racism in public school. Oh yes, oh yes. You've already got states, I believe Texas is leading the way. You cannot teach children that America is racist. And you cannot teach children that America functions on a system of racism. So what is going to happen to the black child who's not told how they got here, not told how they're treated here, but they can learn all you want them to know about the rainbow, and you can teach them all you want them to know about anti-Asian hate, and you can teach them all you want them to know about anything else, but the teaching of what black people have been through is right now at risk of being permanently barred from public school. If there was ever a time for us to build our own schools, it is now. That's why I want to thank all of you brothers and sisters who stood by me and supported me these past 7 years while we raised this money and bought the school. And I also want to invite all of you to Wilmington, Delaware. Saturday, September 11th. We're going to have our first annual Unapologetically African Festival in front of the school. The school isn't ready yet. But we decided we don't want to wait until it is for y'all to see it and take a look at what we got. Because it's not my school, it's your school. It's not your school, it's our school. This will be the first school in recent African history that was built, acquired, and renovated with monies that came from African people from every continent on the earth. And once the school is renovated, it will be the largest independent black school campus in America. So please join me September 11th. There's going to be food, games, music, performers, giveaways, raffles. There will be meditation classes. I'm trying to get the gym ready.
Dr. Umar,
Yes, sir.
the African Diaspora Mental Health Association, alongside the Garden of Eden and Metro Records, we will
Garden of Eden, Metro Records, we thank you as well. Yes, indeed.
and we will be bringing a busload down to support that event. So you will see us there. Go ahead,
By the
Princess.
way, Wilmington, real quick, Wilmington is 20 minutes from the Philadelphia International Airport. So if you plan to fly, you fly into Philadelphia. Delaware is Philadelphia's backyard. We're literally 22 minutes from the airport.
Hey, Dr. Umar. My name is Kamani. I'm the owner of the Key Bookstore down in Hartford, Connecticut. Last time I saw you was about in 2017 at the Power Talk down in DC.
Oh wow, that was right before Bobby D. Gregory passed
Yes.
away. And
Yeah.
you know that day real quick, Bobby D. Gregory, after he spoke, he came outside the church in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Me and Bobby D. Gregory stood out there for about 5 hours. I signed every book, took every picture. He stood there with me. We had shared the stage a few times prior, but he never waited to talk to me. The only reason why we stopped talking is because his driver had to go. But Bob, I felt like he was pouring everything into me that he needed to tell somebody. And about 2 weeks later, he was an ancestor. I felt it that day. When he left, I told my team, I said, I don't know if Baba got much longer because he's never poured into me like that before. So I was with him right before he joined the ancestors. Go back.
That was a special time. I was wondering your plans for building out the library at your school that you're building and the collaboration with the black bookstores and distributors and things like that. And also, I'm gonna have to ask you off the mic, but
You
where?
definitely got to get the book in your store.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
That. You know that.
I just got a request for it
Okay.
today, so.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Speaking of books, first of all, y'all better support the sister. Where your bookstore at?
It's on Park Street, 1429 Park Street.
1420. Is that park or park?
Park.
Okay.
But really go to keybookstore.com. That's where you have to.
K-E-Y.
K-E-Y. No.
Keybookstore.com, yo. And let me say this about books. 2 things. Number 1, do not give up your physical book library for digital. The white man wants you to give up your physical books for digital. Because once you digitize your entire library, he can kill it with the push of a button. Do I know you run out of room in your house? Lord knows I own more books than anything else. I'm damn near sleeping on them. But I'm not giving them up. The minute you do that, we fall into his hands. Do not digitize. I got books on digital, don't get me wrong. But I have never given up any of my physical books. And guess what the white book publishers are doing? They're buying the rights to a lot of our classic books and putting them on the shelf to never print them again. So you better keep your Dr. Ben and your Ivy Ben server. Part of the sanitization of American history is the removal of critical black literature that can expose America for who she really is. Stop giving your books up, keep them. And the second one, in every home, there should be a quiet reading hour. Every home. If your child are too young to read, you read to them. You must do that. The reason our children are trailing these white kids on these tests, particularly the Massachusetts State Assessment, is they don't have the working vocabulary to understand the questions. I'm telling you what I know. Your child would have scored higher had they understood the words in the question. So what the white man does is he'll take a simple question and make it complex by putting words that they know black kids don't know because black kids don't read. Stop buying Christmas gifts that distract your child from academic practice. If you have a child failing a single class in your house, there should be no television in their room. If you have a child failing a single class in your house, there should be no video game system in the house. How in the hell are you failing classes, but you got time to play video games? You got time for Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I see a child who got a video game and social network and failing. I see a parent who not on their job. Next question. Thank you, Queen.
Hi again. My question is how to get, Brianna and I were talking. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. So, how do you get, this room is not full when it should be, right? A free event. And there's a lot of people that are middle age, upper age, have their life going for themselves. How can we, as somebody that loves Black people and cares about Black people, get people my age that can do the work, fighting, like you said? How can I get them in spaces like this?
It's difficult to get Black people to focus on Black people. Most of our priorities are on something other than ourselves. But the key is to keep doing. Repetition breeds the reward. So, although I speak in places that are jam-packed, the big cities, right? I have learned through doing this that it's not always about the big crowd. It's not the amount of people in the seats. It's the amount of consciousness in the people. You all here may do more with what you heard today than 5,000 people in a major city. You see? So it's not always about the quantity, it's the quality. 5 serious Black people, 5 serious Black people can do more than 5 million lazy Black people. So for me, I'm not looking for a lot. I'm looking for those who are committed to the work. And I judge all Black people by 5 criteria. Consciousness. How much are you informed about what's affecting Black people? Consistency. Are you committed to the Springfield Black community, or are you one of these opportunists who change their views every year based on their agenda? I only work with people who are, but my babies are my priority. I can't go to jail. Then I know how I can work with you. And I know there's certain things I can't expose you to because you will sell out the whole struggle for your 2 babies. Do y'all understand me? So it's not about having a lower level of commitment. It's about being honest about what that is, because information is disseminated on a need-to-know basis. And certain things you shouldn't know if you ain't willing to die with it. Next. Consciousness, consistency, last and not least, number 5. After consciousness and commitment and consistency and creativity, guess what follows? Courage. Because if you ain't got the guts to face white people, that's right. If you ain't got the guts to speak truth to power, if you ain't got the guts to challenge your city's government to do right by Black people, nothing else matters. Don't think for 1 minute that because you know a lot, you're making a difference. I know a lot of intelligent cowards, and I know a lot of effective people who are not that well learned. Harriet Tubman wasn't great because she read all the books. Harriet Tubman was great because she did the work. Dr. King and Malcolm and Medgar and Huey, they weren't great. Fannie Lou and Ida B. Wells, they weren't great because they had all the information. They were great because they had all the courage. Do the work and let God decide on the outcome. Let's step out.
Yes, my name is Alex. I'm from Africa. I'm from Africa. I'm Cape Verdean, West Africa.
Which country?
Cape Verde.
I haven't been to Cape Verde.
Yeah, I haven't been.
I'm a Council Brawl, rest in peace.
Yeah. And I used to do some activist movement online. I had a lot of problem with that.
Yes.
And I see something in the American Black community. Then they don't teach about African. Disease is a huge problem then I can see because I come outside. And I see the parents like a mother that is the foundation from the Black family. The mother sometimes need more, they are a teacher because they raise the kids, not the parents. the mother have to be more focused in where they come from, like they cook, like they do, they take care of the kids, or they give a love. Because I see a lot of power in this community, but it's like being exploded. Another thing, then the last question then I want to see, it's then I don't understand in this country when they put, I go to application, they put Spanish, they ask me, it's annoying. Spanish, American, Black, African, American. I say, why cannot be white? They say American is a white people. But I see all these things, I think then the black people need to stand to put the feet on the ground, or the foot on the ground, to be black, and to be American, and to be African. Not just let them treat us like, then we are like immigrants. They are the same than us. They are worse than us. It's just that they don't want to talk. And I'm so glad to be here because this is my people.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to have you here. Brother, we all one family.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do agree. That in America, we have to do a better job of teaching our children about their African roots. As the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, the tree cannot stand without its roots, neither can the people. You have to understand, which I'm sure you do, because of the self-hate that slavery put into the American African. Many of us try to escape our blackness as a solution to the race problem. If you study movements in America after Marcus Garvey's deportation, most of the black nationalist movements that came after Garvey, although I respect all of them, they took our people away from being African. They told them they was Asiatic, they told them they was Aboriginal, they told them they was from here, there, and everywhere except Africa. And they took away culture and gave us Islam and Christianity. Not that Islam and Christianity are bad religions, but when you tell people to ignore their culture for religion, then religion becomes toxic. Because African culture, in the modern sense, is at least 250,000 years old. Islam is 1,500 years old. Christianity is 2,021 years old. Who in their right mind would change $250,000 for $2,021 or $1,500? So what we have to do is bring the culture back. And if you want to be a Christian, no problem, Africanize it. You want to be a Muslim, no problem, Africanize it. All we have to do is Africanize the things that we feel we need to be a part of, and the rest will take care of itself. But as Garvey said, we have to learn to put the race first. We're the only people whose community does not come first. Chinese are Muslims, Chinese are Christians, Chinese are Jehovah's Witnesses, but they Chinese first. Arabs are Muslims, Arabs are Christians, but we are the only people who will put religion before the race. And we have to stop doing that, because if we don't come first in our own life, how in the hell will we ever come first as black folks? I gotta get to Cape Verde too. I gotta get there. Over to God. And Jesus is only black. He was no other color. How do we know Jesus was black? Well, number one, if you read in the Bible, it tells you that he had feet like burned brass, hair like lamb's wool. Africans are the only people with woolly hair. That's number one. Okay? White people don't have hair, they have fur. Now, no, it's true. That's right. They have the same hair as the animals. It's fur. Am I wrong? Their hair is it's not disrespectful that they have fur. We have hair, they have fur. But listen, we also know Jesus was black because in ancient African culture, to be called a Christ, which is a title, not a name, to be an anointed one, the ancestor said that your skin had to be kissed of the sun, meaning black and burnt. We also know Jesus was tribe of Judah, which was the blackest of the 12. We also know Jesus was black because the oldest pictures in paintings of Jesus, and I have a replica of the oldest painting. You can get it, I think it's in the Coptic Museum in Egypt or Ethiopia. They have them as blue, black, purple, but all 12 of their disciples, blue, black, purple. The popular painting of Jesus has been several. But the most popular, the one y'all got in your house, that is painted by Leonardo da Vinci in 1482. So Jesus been white for about 500-600 years. Before that, everybody knew he was black. Now, what is the connection between Jesus being white in 1482 and Columbus 1492? Because it was the white Jesus that would be the greatest weapon of the enslavement and colonization of African people. To this day, we have a problem getting rid of white Jesus. And that's why I'm telling everybody here, if you got a white Jesus at home, go home and burn it. This has nothing to do with Jesus. This has nothing to do with your religion. You are getting rid of an image that has your enemy imposing as your deity. Notice I told you to burn it. I didn't say put it in the trash. Why did I not say put it in the trash? Because if you put that white Jesus painting in the trash, somebody from the Kunakos will come get it out of the trash and hang it on the wall. Go ahead, Papa.
Black power.
Black power.
I just wanted to ask two questions. One is, why is European language being described towards African men? For example, if we are too militant, we'll call misogynist.
Yes.
If we don't want to talk about homosexuality, we're homophobic.
Yes.
These terms are being thrown on African men who want to take positions in the community and help. Second question is, 71% of the Springfield school system is African Latino or African American. However, there are no non-fiction books in our school system that promotes African history in a positive way. How can we change that? And why is it that they're using European language to describe African men who some of us talk like you, so.
Gotcha.
Dr. Johnson,
Yes.
before you answer this brother's question, one of the true soldiers in the city of Springfield, this brother right here.
Oh, yes. Black masculinity. When a black man is confident, he's arrogant. When a white man is confident, he's self-assured. See that? When a black man disagrees with homosexuality, he's a homophobic. When a white man disagrees with homosexuality, he's masculine or Christian-centered. The definition of power is the ability to define reality and make your victims accept it. We have to redefine all the words that we use. What is freedom from a black perspective? What is equality from a black perspective? Let me say this. Racism has reinvented itself. It no longer looks like white racism. The new faces of racism are three: multiculturalism, feminism, and rainbow gangism. If I want to destroy you, I won't do it the traditional route. Have the KKK burn a cross, have the police beat you up, burn your house down. That's old racism. New racism will find something you said about the LBGTs and accuse you of being a homophobe. New racism is finding something you said against the feminist movement and accuse you of being anti-woman. New racism will find something you said about the Arabs or the Mexicans or the Chinese and use that to castigate you. So how do we work around as black men where racism now makes us the perpetrator instead of the victim? We pay it no mind. And we just keep on doing our work. We cannot be stopped
because we're afraid of white people calling us names. They've done worse than that. 100 years ago, we swung from trees for resistance. So if all I got to worry about is a bad name or two, I'm all right with that.
No, our own people now. There are black people who are now throwing that language on.
Oh, of course. Of course.
The same thing.
I believe we have more black people who side with the white power structure than who side with black liberation. Is that what I said? Of the 50 million Africans in America, whether we came on a slave ship or an airplane, there's 50 million of us here. Of the 50 million, you might have 5 million who are serious. Most of us will go down with this white man. We love him. He is our God. We worship him. We want to live next to him. We want to marry his daughter. We want to talk like him. We want to sound like him. So many of us believe that the closer we can approximate whiteness, the better off we will be. Here's what I say. I say what Frederick Douglass said. The motto of our school is what? It is better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Find the ones we can save. Let the garbage go out with the trash.
Yes, sir.
Springfield, the worst mistake you can make is believing you can save every black person in your city. Some of us don't want to be saved.
That's right.
And some of us will kill you for trying to save us. My brother.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony. You actually answered a couple of the questions that I had as I was waiting. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, being that I'm young, what are some practical leadership advice that you would give when trying to galvanize the people around you? Because what I've noticed is the more positive I get, the less I have of a certain audience. But those are the people that I want to reach the most to get them attention. So how would you go about doing that?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Unfortunately, Black America is hypnotized by white culture, which has taught us to only listen to black people with their credentials. Had I not had 6 degrees from his 3 white universities, y'all might not be here. With that being said, I say this. In therapy, we are taught that the client knows best, which is to say, when you're waking up black people, only take them as far as they're ready to go at that moment. Your job is to plant the seed. What do we know about the seed? It will bring forth. But you have to be patient enough to understand it doesn't come forth on your time. It comes forth on divine time. It's no different than black teachers who say, Dr. Umar, I'm doing my best with our children, but I don't think I'm reaching them. Yes, you are. You're planting the seed. Your problem is you want the seed to grow now. The seed might not grow for 2 years, 3 years, 5. There were children I thought I didn't reach, ran into them 20 years later, and they're doing the damn thing. Get off this white man's time. We on divine time.
Right.
Everything will happen according to plan. Your job, plant them seeds, brother. Keep on planting them. I'm promising you they will bring forth. I'll give you a quick story. When I was at the Garvey movement in Philadelphia, the UNIA, Temple University was down the street. The Temple University black students will come to the Garvey meeting. I ran the Marcus Garvey Action Committee. They would come in there with their Christian minds and they would say, I can't say race first. I can't put black people first. I was taught everybody's first. And God don't see no color, right? You think I fought them? No, while everybody else was trying to convince them. I didn't do that. My psychology experience taught me, just plant. Just plant. Just plant. And guess what happened? Automatically, I didn't have to do it. It might have took some of them a year. It might have took some of them 6 months. It might have took some of them 2 years. They start walking in there, joining the Garvey movement on their own. The same ones who said they couldn't came in joining because the seed must bring forth. Just plant it. Just plant it. But recognize you can't change everybody. Find out who is salvageable and who is not. Listen, in therapy, we're trained that the minute you meet a client, you got to evaluate the client for their readiness to change. If you come to me with an alcohol problem and you ain't ready to stop drinking, I'm not letting you come see me again. Because I can't solve your problems. I am your guide and your assistant towards helping you solve your own problem. You don't need to keep paying me because you haven't made up your mind to stop smoking. You haven't made up your mind to stop drinking. You see that? Once you make up your mind, change is instant. I once heard an alcoholic tell me, I had to quit 5 times before I gave up alcohol. No, you didn't, brother. No, you didn't, brother. What you did was, you speculated 4 times. It wasn't until the 5th time you made up your mind. It's the black woman who says, I had to leave my husband 7 times, who was beating on me, Dr. Umar, before I left him. No, you didn't, sister. Them other 6 times, you wasn't sure yet. The 7th time, you made up your mind. Understand something. Once you make a decision, action is automatic. If you have not changed your behavior, you have not made a decision. And I'm going to work with Brother Gary in the African Mental Health Association because I would love to come back and do a Black Men's Conference.
That's right.
I would love to come back and do a Black Women's Conference. I would love to come back and do a Black Youth Conference. Get all the teenagers, get the corner boys up in here. You understand? So let's go ahead and start doing some stuff. Me and Brother Gary gonna make it happen. This will not be the last time you see Dr. Umar in Springfield.
Hello.
How you doing, Queen?
Very well, much better now. I just want to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
And I wanted to touch on a couple of things that you said. One was informed consent. I think that's so critical that I don't want to jump over. I'm a provider. Until I became a provider, I just realized I've never consented to any treatment. I've been told what treatment they think would be best for me. So I encourage people to ask your questions.
Yes.
The who, what, when, and where, and why. Who is this medication prescribed for? When is this medication prescribed? Where is this medication not prescribed? When does this work? And what can I expect out of this, good and bad? Because I realize that when I'm educating my patients, they have no clue not only of the drugs that they're taking, the short term, the long term, or what options are out there outside of drug treatment. So that's one. The second thing I want to touch on is follow the money. Because we're all working in systems. You heard somebody speak to $9,000, $12,000 per student. So your child is valuable, but yet when we got laptops in our schools, we thought we were given a gift. I implore you to be very curious and to demand a return on your investment because you are invested in this city. The third thing is that we're all working somewhere. That means you're all part of a structure. So everyone has the ability to impact change. Find out what's happening in your organization. I don't care how big or small. What are they doing in your community? Is it helpful? Is it hurtful? And be a voice. So everyone has power to teach or to tell. You might not know who to teach, but you can certainly tell someone where to go to get the correct information. And so I just want people to be empowered that there are things that are very now that you can do in your community and in your situation to be stronger and to be better. And for those of us, I can say we are trying because we do work in silos. So there's a lot of people that are doing the work, but we're not collective. And that is part of the structure, is to keep us working very hard independently, yet not collectively. So as you're building a school, we should be having the grocery store with the school that's being built at the same time. And the mental health support with people who look like me who can receive you and your child, because I get what it's like when you come from the block. Don't tell me that you can't sit with your back to the door and tell me that's normal. That's because you never felt safe in your community. So we need to talk about what our trauma looks like. So as you're building these structures, a school is pivotal because that's the communication. How do we take all of these talents and build all of these structures so that we can dismantle what they have and take that and get a return on our investment?
Get that sister in here.
Doctor, what you did say, Dr. Johnson, is this is Dr. Khadija Tui, and she's a wonderful
Yes.
She has a father that's president.
You're the father?
No.
Oh. Oh, right here, Papa, right here?
No, my Abba was not in this room right now.
Okay.
But I have one.
Gotcha.
And we have a husband and an intact family, we done raised
Yes,
our
sir.
children.
Yes, sir.
So we understand in our community, and we also understand the power of being unapologetic. And so it's not my business to worry about what what every other race is doing, what every other race discriminates
That's right.
against white people.
That's right.
So that is not my concern. So as we're building and as we're doing these initiatives, what advice do you have for how we get these things going?
Couple points. Number one, we want to inform consent. Any attorneys in here? No. Let me tell y'all a little piece of self-disclosure. When I was in my pre-doctoral internship in New Jersey, I was admitted into a law school. And I turned it down because psychology was my first love and I wanted to get my doctorate. I regret it. If I could do life over, I had my school psychology certification. I really didn't need a doctorate. I wanted to become an educational attorney. And the reason I wanted to become an educational attorney is because there is no major black educational attorney in the United States. If any of you are thinking about a second career, if any of you are thinking about a first career, for my young people who plan to go to college, please consider becoming an educational attorney. Most black attorneys are criminal, family, civil rights. We need educational attorneys to fight for our children when the schools violate their rights. These white educational lawyers I work with, they are making millions of dollars. And guess who's winning the cases for them? Me. They consult with me, they send me the paperwork, I tell them every error in the case. They'll give me a couple thousand, and they'll go into the courtroom and make a couple $100,000. I'm telling you, we need some black educational attorneys. And one of the reasons we need it is what she said. Informed consent. You guys are not being given informed consent about special ed. You're not being given informed consent about these evaluations. You're not being given informed consent about treatment or medication. If I was an educational attorney, right now, I would be mounting a massive black parent class action lawsuit against the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, the special ed industry, and the public school industry for making black parents make decisions about their children without having all the facts. They don't tell you about the side effects, they don't tell you how it's going to hurt you. A part of me still wants to go to law school. I just don't know if I can deal with crackers for 3 more years. You understand? And besides, they all know who I am, so I might not get it anyway because they know what I'm going to do. But my point is, think about that. Number 2, you said, how do we bring everybody's work together so we can build systems? The Honorable Marcus Garvey, at the time of his death, he was working on a massive global African inventory. Every time we come together, we need inventory. That means what? Before we leave it, Brother Gary should know what everybody in here does. Are you an electrician? Do you build websites? You're a cook. You're a tax preparer. You're a public speaker. You're a trainer. You're a licensed professional counselor. You're a social worker. You have your own garden. You grow crops. You're a daycare provider. The reason why it's so hard for us to get work done, going to the Queen's Point, we don't know what each other's talents and competencies are. In this room right now, you may have enough to lay the foundation for the Black Wall Street of Springfield, Massachusetts. Let me say this. Whenever I travel, I don't care if I'm in London, I don't care if I'm in Jamaica, I don't care if I'm in Africa, I don't care if I'm in Canada, everywhere I go, people ask me the same question. Dr. Umar, can you name one black community that you feel would serve as an example for us? You know what's sad? I can't name one. And I've been to every continent except Australia. You might be the first one. Some of y'all would say, nah, it's going to have to be New York. It's going to have to be Chicago. It's going to have to be Atlanta. You're wrong. Even though those cities have a higher level of consciousness, they also have a higher level of distractions. A place like Springfield, Massachusetts is perfect because the black community is close enough and congested enough for y'all to get something done amongst yourself. You can do more with few than you can with millions. Stop making excuses for yourself because you're in Massachusetts. Stop making excuses for yourself in Springfield. I can guarantee you one thing, it'd be easier to do it here than to do it in the big city.
So, firstly, Dr. Umar,
Johnson, my African brother. We got Africated today, right? We didn't get educated, we got Africated today. And, you know, we talk about, you heard Dr. Umar Johnson very earlier mention this shot, this injection, right? This toxin that we've been taking in our bodies. We don't need to worry about that virus. What we need to worry about is the colonial virus.
That's right.
And Dr. Umar Johnson just gave us the vaccine today. So Dr. Umar, we appreciate you. You know we love you. Peace and black power. Please, everybody, Dr. Umar's books. My understanding is Dr. Umar is more than willing to sign the books. Is that correct, Dr. Umar? My understanding is that Dr. Umar is more than willing to take a photo with you. So please, let's pour into this brother, right? But most of all, after he's gone, the work needs to begin, right? We asked Dr. Umar to come down to do a reset in this city. So after Dr. Umar's gone, the work must begin. So let's give a round of applause for Dr. Umar. One second.
Also, family, quickly, if I'm signing your book, take the plastic off. If I'm taking a picture, have your phone ready. And a special request, if we take a picture, please text it to me so I have something I can post up on my social network. Because there's some black people who said, why are you going to Springfield? There's no black people there. So I need to show them that there's black people there.
And I got a quick announcement for you. First of all, give yourselves a round of applause.
Yes.
Two things I want to remind people of. This upcoming Thursday, he talked about finding out what everybody else does. Yes. On Thursday, we have a networking session at a black-owned art gallery. It's called Art for the Soul Gallery in Tower Square. And when we say networking, we're really talking about networking because we want to find out who does what and who's where. So when he talks about, what he's talking about is called capacity mapping, and we have to figure out what we have in our city so that we can organize in our city. Is that cool with y'all? Yes. All right. That's the first thing. The second thing is my brother talked about 2023. Who can remember what's happening in 2023? We going back. No ifs, ands, buts about it. So please make sure, go to, if you registered on the, what's it called, the Eventbrite, make sure you go, if you haven't registered, go on there and do that because we're sending out emails, keeping everybody updated. Once everything is scheduled, you'll start getting your email blast. We'll talk about the payment plans. And we're going to try and subsidize as much as we can, but we can't do it for free. So we're going to do what we can. We're going to make sure that everybody can afford this. Because everybody needs to go home at some point. Is that cool? All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all being
Black Power, books,
y'all ready? Support.
welcome.
We want to come on up. Oh, shout out real quick. The sound was presented by DJ Boogie Entertainment. Give it up for my man. Give it up for my brother, DJ Boogie. Give it up, y'all.
We're going to do 2 lines. Ladies, this black line, brothers, this red line. Brothers at the foul line. Straight line this way for the brothers. Straight line this way for the sisters. Brothers is the red line. Family, you can choose either side. Is that Ezekiel Elliott? Is that you from yesterday? Or you look like the brother here yesterday? You got that Ezekiel Elliott going on too? Make sure the person behind you knows how to use your phone because they're going to take your picture for you, all right? Make sure the person behind you knows how to use your phone. They're going to take the picture for you.
And I got to shout out these brothers who served as security for us today. The brothers, the Hebrew Israelites are in the house. Clap your hands, man. They did it for us. They volunteered their time. They sacrificed their energy just for us. Thank you.
I didn't know Auntie Latonia was here.
Oh yeah, she came in.